In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my brand new watch, and I'm going to be taking you through the buying process, kind of the steps that I took to get there. Full disclosure, guys, before we start, this watch right here, the Tudor Black Bay 54 Lagoon Blue, is not the watch that I'm getting. It's a watch that we just reviewed on the channel, and that's why it's sitting there. Also, I do still want the Tudor Black Bay Opaline dial, the Tudor Black Bay Pro Opaline dial. I think that is super, super sexy, and I know that I kind of pulled the same stunt when I was looking at the Speedmaster. I was looking at a white dial Speedmaster, and I was so infatuated with it. I told everyone I was going to get it, and then I ended up with an Apollo 11. This is not the same situation. I still want the Tudor Black Bay Pro, but this is just a little tease to get us warmed up before we get there. Okay, so initially on looking at the watches, I knew that I wanted something different, something that was a little bit more unique in my collection. I do have quite a similar taste when it comes to watches. I always go for white dial sports watches like the Seamaster, probably because I love the Seamaster, but I wanted something that little bit different. So the first watch that I stumbled on was this. This is the Christopher Ward C63 Sealander, coming in at 39mm and having a kind of white silvery looking dial. Now I know what you guys are thinking, Harrison, that is exactly the same as every other watch you go for, and I had the same thought, and that's why I didn't get this model, but this model is super attractive to me. It does give those explorer vibes without breaking the bank. I love how plain it is, I love how simplistic it is, and I do love Christopher Ward as a brand. But yeah, you guys are right. This watch kind of floated into my mind and then floated away. The next watch that I quickly dived to, pardon the pun because it is a diving watch, is this, the Certina DS Action Diver 40.5mm. I actually filmed this watch in the Maldives. I'm not sure if the video will be released at the moment as we're talking about it, but I took it on holiday essentially to film this model. Now, I was blown away by the tech that is in this watch. It wasn't so much about the aesthetics. The aesthetics are good, but I just think Certina is such an underrated brand. And let me give you a little example of awesome tech that's in a watch that nobody really hears about. They were testing this watch to see how many G it could withstand, and it withstood about 10 G before breaking the machine that they had it in. So they think that it can actually withstand 12 G, but it actually broke the machine before they got the test results back. That's how brilliant the double security concept that's in this watch actually is. Now, to put this into perspective, when fighter jets are doing evasive maneuvers and fighting maneuvers in the sky, they might hit 8 to 9 G max for about 3 to 4 seconds. When a rocket is re-entering the atmosphere, it probably hits about 6 to 7 G for about 20 seconds. So the fact that this can withstand that, and it's in like a £700 package, is absolutely awesome. Now, Certina also do a ton of work with charities like the Sea Turtle Conservation, and also they work with brands like #Tide. So essentially they take tons of plastic out the ocean, and that, I don't want to go through the entire process because we have explained it in another video, but essentially their NATO straps come from those plastics, which I think is awesome. And having a brand with intrinsic links to the environment, as a photographer and videographer, I've seen the effects of plastic pollution firsthand, and that, it really touched my heart. It really did. Never mind the fact that this is a super, super sexy watch. But then that little niggle came back, that little woodpecker in my brain came back and said, "You've already got a diving watch, Harrison." And I thought, yes, you'd be correct. And then I quickly moved on to this. This is the Grand Seiko SBG X261. And now we're getting somewhere. I started getting excited. I started feeling like I was looking in the right area. This is starting to feel different to me. I do have a Grand Seiko, but this is a quartz model. This is a little bit different. This is just that little bit more unique. This watch comes in at 37mm in diameter and 10mm in thickness, so it's beautifully thin, and it definitely hit that more dressy, everyday wear category. It wasn't unbelievably dressy to the point you wouldn't wear it. It still has the price point of being wearable every day, but with that dressy feel, and I really, really liked that. But that niggle was still there because I already own a Grand Seiko. Like, I already have one. It's not like I'm doing something different. And that kind of progressed me naturally onto Seiko. And in my head, I thought, well, you've got two Seikos. You've got literally two Seikos sitting in the house right now. And then I thought, I like Grand Seiko, I like Seiko. What's a brand that is related to both of them that not many people talk about? And it's this. This is King Seiko, and it's a watch brand that I've genuinely gone down a rabbit hole over the past, I'm gonna say month about, because I find it fascinating. So before I show you the watch, let me talk about the history just for a second of King Seiko. So King Seiko was born in 1961 and it ran till around about 1975. And essentially King Seiko was established as a competitor at the time to Grand Seiko. Now after 1975, King Seiko went into kind of a hibernation period. Nobody really heard from them, they didn't produce any new watches, and that was up until 2022. It was relaunched in 2022, and King Seiko is the more premium brand to Seiko. It is a huge step up in terms of quality. It's a huge step up in every way possible. King Seiko is much, much more niche, and it's actually produced in very small numbers in comparison to Seiko. It has a much sharper, multifaceted finishing, and also Zaratsu polishing on the case, which is absolutely goddamn gorgeous. So there are three different lines when it comes to King Seiko. You have the KSK collection, which was originally launched in 1965. You then have the Vanak collection, which was originally launched in 1962, and it's characterized by its kind of more classic designs with bright, bold colors. This is a very bold watch, and to be honest, it's the first line that I looked to when I wanted something different, because it is so different. But it gives me slight Tissot PRX vibes, slight Christopher Ward 12 vibes, and that's when I landed on this, the 1969, which was inspired by the classic King Seiko from the late 60s. So you have four variants in particular of this line to choose between. You have a silver dial, you then have a purple dial, you have a dark muted green dial, and then, dare I say it, you have a Tiffany blue looking dial. This is the King Seiko SJE 109, and it is my new watch. So let me just cover the specs really quickly and what I love on this watch and why it kind of pushed me over the edge to get it. So the 1969, this kind of small collection of watches within King Seiko's range, is actually based on a previous model from, you guessed it, 1969. It's based on this, the 45KCM, and look how beautiful and vintage that looks. That's from 1969. It is aged wonderfully, and that's one of the reasons why I like this watch. It's that beautiful, different case design. It's unlike anything I have in the collection. And because of how different it looks, because of how different the case shape is, it honestly works perfectly with the Summit collection from Chisholm Hunter. This is my brand new range of gents jewelry, and it is the perfect companion to your timepiece. This is a range that I've totally created myself. It took a long time. It was a total pain in the arse, but if you would have a look and support the channel by doing that, I'd really, really appreciate it. Honestly, it's stuff that I wear every day, literally every day. And while you're at it, if you could hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. So this watch comes in at 39.4 millimeters in diameter, although the case around it definitely makes it look that little touch bigger because of the reflections, because of how bright it is, and because of how kind of flat it is on the wrist. I would say it comes in more like a 40 to a 41, but that's perfect for my 6.5 inch wrists. And one of the key features here that drove me to this watch is the thickness. It comes in at 9.9 millimeters in thickness. It is beautifully thin. It comes in at 43.6 millimeters lug to lug and comes in full stainless steel. It has this boxed shape sapphire crystal glass, which gives it really vintage hues. And to think of how thin it would be without that box shaped sapphire crystal glass is kind of unbelievable. Like, that must add a good few millimeters. It has a full stainless steel bracelet with a butterfly clasp at the bottom. It's water resistant to 5 bar, and beneath that case back, the closed case back, you have the caliber 6L35. This is fully automatic and it's accurate to +15 to -10 seconds per day. It has 45 hours of power and 26 joules. One of the main attractions of this watch to me was how vintage it looks, was how different it looks. I can really imagine passing this down through the generations and it aging gracefully. There's nothing intrusive about this watch. There's nothing too bold about this watch. There's nothing that screams too loud. It's extremely subtle. I mean, it doesn't even have a lume. There's so many imperfections with this watch that I think it kind kind of makes it perfect. A tiny detail that I love, for example, is at the 12 o'clock mark, the batons are in kind of a unique pattern. It looks really, really cool. The dial is in silver. It's in kind of a whitey silver. It's very muted. It doesn't, again, scream too loud. Now, the bracelet isn't my favorite, if I'm being totally honest, but I was able to overlook that because of how unique and different this would be in my collection. I do tend to gravitate towards the same stuff, towards diving models, towards hype watches, and I'm okay with that. I understand what I like and I buy what I like. That's what the watch community is at the end of the day. Art is subjective. It's different for everyone, and I understand that. But I did want something that little bit different, and I deliberately pushed the boat out to do that. I wasn't comfortable with everything on this watch, but to me, as I said before, the imperfections make it perfect for my collection. So yeah, this is my new watch. It is the King Seiko. It's a watch that I absolutely love, adore, and is going to go straight into my collection. It's a brand I feel that doesn't get talked about enough. You know, it's kind of overshadowed by a lot of Seiko models, but King Seiko is super cool. And the quality in this, guys, is so different. It's so much better than the Seiko watches that I have at the moment. And I suppose it's because you're paying more, right? It's more premium brand. But yeah, I was super happy with this. Let me know what you guys think though in the comments. Do you guys like it? Do you guys not? Is it too different for me? Does it suit me? What do you guys think? Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Or follow our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches, or my Instagram at HB Lifelens, or the podcast, the Into the Mind podcast. And I'll see you guys real soon.